Hi everyone, Kevin McDonald here. Today I've got Curt Bloom on the show. So Curt is a Swiss national who moved to Dubai, worked in Dubai for a number of years, and made a decision last year to just move to the UK and start a property business, having never done property before. But before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. So thank you, Curt, for being on the show. So for those that don't know Curt Bloom, can you tell everybody just a little bit about you, where you're based in the UK, and I guess what you were doing before property?
Yeah, hello, Kevin. Thanks for having me. And I'm Curt from Switzerland, and I was actually in Switzerland teacher and musician. And then when I had a little bit enough from everything in Switzerland, I went to Dubai, set up my own company there, and was 13 years in Dubai. I was in arts and culture, organized lots of events, and I flew in pop stars and entertainers from Switzerland. That was during 13 years. And then it came a moment where business went a little bit down. So I had to think about what are next steps. Okay, still stay there. And then I had actually a quite huge project at the Abu Dhabi International Airport at the new midfield terminal. And everything went well until it got on hold. So with my business in selling art and doing events, it was not doing so well. So the Abu Dhabi airport project got also on hold. And at that moment, I read the book from Rob Moore, Money. And that gave me lots of inspiration and motivation. And I thought, okay, I go to UK. But before I went to UK, I researched a little bit. I'm from Switzerland, so I could actually go for property in Switzerland, right? But I found out that in the UK, you have so much different institutions where you can learn about property management, property investment, all these kind of strategies, rent to rent, to HMO, service accommodation, commercial conversion. So I thought, okay, straight ahead, I go to UK, and I got a friend here in Bracknell from Dubai who has his family here. I could live here in Bracknell, Berkshire, for a few weeks until I found another room to live. And I went always to Peterborough, to Progressive, for studies, and now mentorship with you, Kevin, and also with a VIP at Progressive. And yeah, that's how it worked.
Okay, so when did you move to the UK? How long ago was that?
1 year ago, exactly on 23rd, I remember 23rd of October was my flight, Dubai to UK.
Okay, so literally 1 year ago,
Yeah.
No experience in property, not being a property investor, and no experience of the UK. Had you ever lived here before?
No, but I remember when I was 17 years old, I went to the Isle of Man, and it took me, I think I had 4 flights from Switzerland to Gatwick, then Heathrow, then Heathrow to Gatwick, Gatwick to Manchester, Manchester to Douglas, and each flight was 1 day in delay. So I came to UK when I was 17 years old, and then later, last year, I did a little bit research, holiday and business. I thought I go to UK. It was in August 2019 to see if I can talk to some people who are doing HMO. So I went to Manchester, to Liverpool, I went to London and Essex, and I had some meetings there to get a little bit like a warm up and to see it's really something I can go into it.
Well, so for number one, for anyone watching this and thinking, can I do property? Can I get into property? The fact that you've come from the other side of the world, really, well, Switzerland to the other side of the world, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and then just decided I'm going to move to the UK. I've never been there before, and I'm going to become a property investor. So that's hugely inspirational to me and to many other people, I'm sure, Curt, that you took that big leap. When you landed here and you started looking at getting into property, the reason you chose Bracknell, so that's near Reading, I guess, so the reason you chose that area, was that because you had family, friends, former work colleagues, somebody to help you get started, or did you just go and alone?
Yeah, actually, I had a friend in Dubai, and his brother has family here in Bracknell. So I thought that I have no idea where to go in the UK. I could go to Manchester because I have a direct flight to Manchester from Dubai, and I thought I will not rent a room maybe the first 2 3 months because maybe I don't like the weather. I come to the worst weather from Dubai to the UK, in winter time. Maybe I don't like the weather, maybe I don't like the environment, and maybe I don't get any idea about property. I'm not motivated, and then I could go back. So Bracknell was like the first stop, and I'm still here at the same place. And I do property business here, and looking for rent-to-rent houses, HMO houses. And yeah, the reason is actually family, like relations, that I came here. But I could be in another place as well. It could be another place in London or in Manchester, but they just had no other people around.
Right. So when you landed in the UK, you had already pre-read Rob Moore's Money book. You'd already come over for a bit of a holiday for a couple of weeks, I guess, and you'd looked at HMOs. So for anybody watching, a HMO is a house of multiple occupations, so a multi-let property. It's a property investment strategy if you're new to property that you can make massive cash flow from through renting out a property to somebody. And when Curt mentions rent to rent, that is where you can actually rent somebody else's HMO and then rent it out to tenants where you benefit from the profit. So you'd pay the landlord a rent, you'd cover the bills, and then you'd rent it out. And the difference between your rent you receive and what you're spending on paying the landlord and paying the bills is your profit. So it's a really good strategy to get into on a low budget. So you came to Progressive. We first met, that was only a few months ago. So your first event here at Progressive, what was that? And what have you done sort of to get your UK knowledge of property up in the last year? Because like new to the country from a foreign country, you've got a lot to learn. You've got in the UK, not just about your local area, because you didn't have any knowledge of your local area, I guess. So how did you build your knowledge? What were the steps you took to build your knowledge?
So actually, to the first question, I landed on 23rd of October, and on the 25th of October, I came to Peterborough for my first course. It was a multiple stream of income with different professors or teachers at Progressive, and that gave me a first idea, and I was really motivated. I want to go ahead. I booked the course with no money down. That was in December with you, and I started then in February with my program, No Money Down mentorship program at Progressive. And in January, I had commercial conversion. And yeah, I had no idea where to start and what to do. Everything was written in books and in the folders. And of course, everything I note down in my books. So I remember in December, it was a little bit strange. It was cold. And I thought, okay, Kevin, he said, you can distribute flyers. So I just printed flyers. I buy houses. Of course, no money. And then I went just out and distributed flyers. I just want to get in contact with people that maybe they call me or they send me a message. That were the first steps what I did. And then in February, it started like, okay, every month you get detailed and focused information and all the steps what to do with the marketing, how to get leads and get in contact with your community around you. And then with agents, I had really no idea.
Have you managed to build up some like connections in property, power team, people who you can work closely with, as well as obviously myself helping you on the journey? Have you built a power team around you now? And I guess for anyone watching, what tips would you give them on how they could build, a power team as well?
Yeah, my idea was actually, okay, I'm alone here. And I got, actually, I went to different property network events. Physically, I could go to London, Blackfriars, Knightsbridge. I went to Reading. There is a local property network here as well. So you get to know people. And then a lady in Bracknell, she saw me actually on Facebook active. She's also in Progressive. And then she asked me, Rashmi is her name. She asked me if we can work together. So that was, I think it was in May this year. And then so, oh yeah, we can work together, and we might be faster in all this task what we are doing to get the house. And our main focus was just to get the house, our first house, and rent to rent strategy. So it was actually good that we met for the first time, and then yeah, we had coffee together. We discussed why we are working together, what could be the benefits. Of course, benefits are you can share maybe how you say. I have some weakness and I have some strengths, and she has some weakness and some strengths, and we can complement each other by doing it together. So if we have meetings now, we have a plan what we are doing in the next 2-3 hours when we sit together. What are the tasks? Normally, I put everything on a summary together. I send it to her, and then yeah, we were quite well organized. Then we work on this task during 1 week.
Good. One of the things I talk a lot about is joint venturing, and how joint venturing has helped me build my business. And it is literally having the workload, but also having that support. So what would you say are the top sort of 3 benefits you've got from joint venturing with Rashmi?
As I said, actually, I get a lot of knowledge. She has already 1 HMO. She had 3 other buy-to-lets with her husband. So I get a lot of knowledge steps when you get actually the house. She's very much into tenants, find tenants. And I learn a lot about this. Then, I mean, knowledge, yeah, is the first priority, that I get experience with what I'm doing. So when we go for a next house, I know also the steps, or like knowledge about security, safety. If you have a rent-to-rent house, a HMO house, about smoke alarms, emergency light, heat detector, all these kind of things, what I have no idea. And then marketing, you can share marketing strategies. She doesn't like to call agents, so I do calling agents. And then in the background, she is doing other tasks, what maybe I'm not so much like, let's say I'm not very much into it, or maybe I don't like this kind of task. I'm the quite organized type, and always I put together lists and how you say, the information on sheets, that for the next house we exactly we know what we are doing. Or for example, if it comes to interior design, I put everything together like a picture and text, what is our standard, what we want in our rooms, and that's how we work together, and we are a good combination, a good team.
So you've secured your first deal, you've got your the keys of a rent-to-rent property. So can you tell us a little bit about how you secured that property, and initially, I guess, how you secured it, and then how you find the tenants, and yeah, just how you felt when you got the keys to that first deal?
Yeah, it was actually a marketing strategy. We went with flyers, Rashmi and me, we went with flyers to the market street here down on a Saturday. And I remember there were some like mostly the owners of the shop, they get the flyer. We asked them, can we distribute flyers, or can we display some flyers in your shop? And then they say yes. And I would say 95% they say yes, we can display flyers. So around 2 weeks later, I got the phone call from the owner of one shop, and he said, Curt, I got your flyer. You just put it in my hands. And I didn't remember anymore. And yeah, I have a house. He said, I have a house to manage, and I'm not so happy with how is it going on right now. So Rashmi, we put together our presentation. We went there. We had a first meeting with the homeowner, and we could see he has tried to manage the house like HMO, but there was a couple inside. There were 2 other persons, and some kind of related and another person there. It was a little bit confusion and it was very dirty. The homeowner was actually not happy with what he has got with this HMO, and he did not know what to do. So he asked us if we can manage his house. So on the second meeting, we just prepared a draft of the contract. We went again there. We sit together. We told him this is the price what we can offer for a monthly rent of the house, and we do everything around it. And you can just relax. And and that he was actually happy when he heard this. You can be relaxed. So and on the second meeting he already signed the contract, the draft. And then that was on a Wednesday, and then the next Saturday we came with the original to sign again, and then we got the keys, and then I was really, it was really a fantastic feeling that we got our first deal. And then of course you need to fill the house, and there are some tasks you need to do because it was really super dirty. You should have seen the pictures. And then it was also for the first time to organize everything from A to Z until the tenants they can move in, because a dirty kitchen, small broken things in the house, and then it needs to be painted. So we had a deal actually with the landlord that he pays everything about like the refurbishment. He paid the paint. What do you say? The fire doors, the smoke alarm, emergency light, everything he paid actually, the whole cleaning of the house, and then some gardening work. And our work was actually, what we paid is the furniture. We had to pay the furniture, so we put everything nicely. And then we had a first tenant actually we took over from the previous contract with the landlord. And then in the meantime, we have 3, and we are in the success zone, in the profitable zone. And we have still 1 to come, a 4th one.
So with 3 tenants out of the 4, you're making a profit already. When it's full, what profit will you be making?
Around 900 to 1,000 pound a month together. So each one, let's say 450, 500, because we haven't got the first, like the first bills for everything together right now. Council tax and then electricity, all these utility bills.
So once you know what the bills are exactly, you'll be looking at about 400 to 450 pound each profit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So I meet a lot of people, and they think, and at events and stuff, and they think, why would a landlord allow you to take their property on and rent it out and make a profit, especially a profit of like 800 quid a month? So why did this landlord, number one is they say to me, why would they allow you to make a profit? And when I do say to people, look, you can do this where the landlords will even pay for the refurb. Some people go, no chance a landlord will give you their house, number one. And number two is, why would they pay for the refurb, the paint, everything, and still give it to you to make a profit? So why, Curt, did the landlord do this? I know they do this. For everyone watching, why did this landlord do that? And what was his pain point to make him want to do that?
I mean, they want to just be on ease, and as I said earlier, and just relax, because he was stressed with this house. And he heard from other friends, they had also HMO house. So he said himself, I can buy a house, I can do it myself. And then he just found people from around maybe his shop, he put there, and then he did not care about anything. And they were there. When after 3 months, when he came to the house, he was very disappointed that the house was so dirty, and he did not know what to do. So there was no rules, nothing, no contract. They just went in and out. And I'm sure the landlord, he wants to have maybe a relaxed weekend, go somewhere without thinking about the house and the tenants, what they are doing during the weekend. And we help him actually to achieve this that he can be on ease, and that everything goes smooth for him. And of course, he doesn't need to pay voids. He has no stress, and he has not to pay the utility bills, the council tax, all these kind of things. We do it for him, and even the refurb, we managed the whole refurb for him, and he is very proud now of the house, how it looks, and he had no idea he could do actually the same, but he has just not the knowledge. And that's what we got actually in this year, since I'm at Progressive, that you learn a lot of things step by step. And then, to be honest, I didn't believe this story when I heard from you the first time. I said, oh God, how can a landlord give you a house, and then you make on top, you make benefit from it, you know? That's also, I didn't believe it at the beginning. Now I believe it.
Remember the first time you would have met me and I said to you that the landlord wants the baby but not the labor pain?
Yeah, that's right.
Pretty much what this landlord wanted. He wanted the baby, the property, but he didn't want the labor pain, the hassle of looking after it, the hassle of managing the tenants. And that is where our opportunity comes. So well done for even though you didn't believe it initially, for trusting the process, for implementing the process, and for getting the keys. And also remember, this landlord, for anyone watching, this landlord is, if he ever wants to buy another property, he will do the very same thing. He'll literally buy a property and hand it over to you, Curt, because he now sees the benefit for him, and it's a win-win. So you mentioned there that you learned the process and stuff at Progressive. So how has the Progressive trainings helped you, not just in terms of your knowledge, I guess also in terms of your beliefs and your mindsets, and how have you changed as a person in the last year?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I miss all these live sessions. You know, if you come to Progressive to Peterborough, it's so much activity and power and motivation and inspiration. People around you, they do the same. To be honest, at the beginning, when I went to Dubai as a teacher and musician, I had no idea to go there and what to do. You have your first business, and then if you're in an environment, everybody, I mean, a lot of people in Dubai, they just started in 2007 when I went there, they just started their business. And then you come to a networking event, you see people, they do the same, they have the same struggles like you. And then 13 years later in Peterborough, it's exactly the same again. I start at zero, and you need people around you. They help you to believe in this idea, and then you go back actually from Peterborough, and wow, I can do this. You know, you get these strengths then, and sometimes I sit here in my room and yeah, when you said, okay, do phone calls, I just did phone calls, and then maybe one day it was very weak, and then you think, oh God, I don't get through, and I have not the motivation, and actually from people also in the community, in the Facebook community in Progressive, you get always a reply, you get feedback and the support what you actually need. And yeah, the mindset is very important, that you know, you focus on one thing. And if you focus on one thing, like I want the house, you just leave all the things away from you, and you can do it. And actually, yeah, with the support from the community, from you, and from the teachers, with phone calls, with Zoom calls right now. And yeah, as I said, it's sad that we can't go to Peterborough. You know, I'm
do another one of these. We'll have to do another one of these live when we can actually when we can meet.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's good. The good thing was actually that we had these Zoom calls. Yeah, that's right.
You mentioned there the community. So for anyone who's watching this that doesn't know what the community is, so Progressive Property have an online Facebook community. So if you want to join the community, just go onto Facebook and type in the Progressive Property community. Click join, and there's over 33,000 property investors, people like Curt, who are in there sharing, supporting, helping each other on the journey. So go join the community and get the support that you need to get started in property as well. So Curt, what's next for Curt? So what does the future hold? What's the plans for 2021 and going forward from 2021?
Yeah, actually, my aim is to get more HMO houses. I have actually in the same street where I have the HMO house, there is one I'm focusing on. I have already the contact with the owner, And hopefully in the same street, I get another one. We can work on it. And then it's a small house, maybe 5 or 6 or more houses. And then this is my rent to rent strategy to HMO houses for cash flow. And the other strategy is actually development, that I find a land to develop 1 or 2 or 3 houses, maybe a commercial conversion. Lots of offices, empty offices will come up already there on the market, I think. And also next year that I can work on either a development project or a commercial conversion.
That's a really good plan as well, by the way, Curt, because what a lot of people do is they go, I'm going to do rent to rent, maybe for cash flow. Or they say, I'm going to do commercial conversion because they want the big profits. But what they miss is that the rent to rent, it's cash flow, but you never build a long-term legacy. And the commercial conversion, it's future money. So like it could take 18 months, 2 years, 3 years before you get paid. So the rent to rent gets you the cash flow to live, while you're doing the commercial conversion that gives you the big payout in 3-4 years time. So putting those two together is actually a really smart thing. So I look forward to watching the commercial conversion journey as well, and seeing how you get on with those, and supporting you in here within the community on pushing those projects through as well. So what would you say, Curt, to anyone who is sort of listening in thinking, can I do property? I mean, whether they live abroad or if they're here in the UK, and maybe a little bit about the difference between the two. So can they really do property? Can they get started with property? Is it possible for them? So what would you say to anyone who's listening and thinking, can they do it?
Yeah, of course they can do. Everybody can do it. But you need the right training. You need to know what you should avoid. You need to learn from experienced people what not to do. And the easiest way is to have a mentor like you, or people from Progressive who teach you. They went already through all these steps. You know, they did all the mistakes, so you can learn and you can easily achieve something. And I believe you can do it. You said, can you do it from abroad? That's my aim, actually, to have experience right now for the next 2-3 years in the UK, maybe a little bit longer, and then being in the Philippines or in Dubai, in Switzerland, wherever I am with my laptop, I can.
Fed up with the English weather already? You're fed up with the English weather already, aren't you?
I'm not so happy with the weather here, but as long as there is no rain, I can survive here. But I think remote investment is possible. I mean, a remote working on HMO. If you have a team here, I could be in Dubai with my laptop, and you just need to trust your people, your team, which is here in the UK. You could do it, but what I wanted to do is, first you need to have your own experience. I want to have my HMO house. I have one now. Going for more HMO houses, have all this experience, how to manage this, the tenants and everything, the landlords with all the rules and regulations. And then the second one, development project, that you learn a lot, maybe project management with the project, having your team, and then you can go abroad.
A lot of people, they have lived in their town in the UK probably all their lives, or they've lived in a town for maybe 4 or 5 plus years, and they still have this feeling that, can I really do property? So I guess for the mindset of people that are living in the same place for a number of years, what would you say, had you lived in Reading, in Bracknell, for 4, 5, 6 plus years or all your life, do you think you would have moved much quicker? Would that have given you a much bigger advantage with just adding the knowledge on top, than having to come there and not just learn the knowledge of property, but also learn the area? And how much do you feel having to learn the area as well would have held you back from fast tracking even more?
I think it would be faster if you already live here. But to be honest, when you are in something quite different like IT, and you are not interested in property, and one day you think I want to go in property, then your eyes open it, so that you're like a beginner coming from Dubai, from anywhere. Because me, I have no car. I walk, sometimes I take the bus going somewhere, but then my focus is so much different, or so much more focused on something what I want to see or want to find when I go out. And people who lived already here, maybe they just did not see maybe an empty space for a development. Or because the focus was in IT. As I said, someone who is in IT or whatever, who worked at the HP headquarters here, and goes many times through the city here in Bracknell, he did not see it because there was not the focus on property. But as soon as you start with the focus on property, you see the things, and then you want to explore more. And I would say it's not so much different if I come from Dubai very new, or if you lived already here in Bracknell. I'm not sure what is your opinion on this, but the difference is actually both. If both we go to the training, then we get it's like an eye opener. You know on what you need to focus. And again, if the people, someone who goes into property at the same time, like me, I come from Dubai and he comes from IT sector, goes in the same training, we start both on zero, you know?
For me, the fact that you've come from Switzerland, you're Swiss national, you lived in Dubai, you were in a business that was completely outside of property, you've moved over to the UK, and you've built your knowledge, and you don't drive a car, you're in a town you've never known before that you're trying to get to know. The fact that you've done so much and come so far within a few months, it's really inspirational. Not just to me, but it should be inspirational to many people that anything is possible in life and that you can achieve your goals in life. So sure. I really thank you for coming on today and for sharing your story with you, because it's stories like these that inspire me and should inspire other people as well, that you can achieve your dreams, you can achieve your goals, and you can become a success at something. So Curt, I just want to say thank you for coming on and sharing your story with us, and I look forward to watching your journey progress over the coming months and over the coming years, because this is really just the beginning. So thank you, Curt, and appreciate your time today. So if you've enjoyed that, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. I've been Kevin McDonald. See you next time.